"You were always sensitive," my father laughed, and my brother mocked me at dinner. That night, I walked out, then find 15 missed calls. My father laughed and said, "You were always too sensitive." My brother smirked and called me a burden in front of everyone. So I stood up from the dinner table, grabbed my coat, and walked out. That night, my phone lit up with 15 missed calls, and by the time they realized why I wasn't answering, it was already too late. If you've ever been the overlooked sibling, the quiet one, the one who works twice as hard but never gets half the credit, this story is going to hit home. So hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in, because today's revenge story isn't loud or explosive. It's quiet, calculated, and absolutely devastating. In my family, there were two roles. Liam was the sun, and I was the shadow. He walked into rooms like he owned them, loud laugh, a firm handshake, athletic build. The kind of confidence that made older relatives nudge each other and say, "That boy's going places." I was quieter, observant, the kid who listened more than he spoke. When we were younger, teachers called me thoughtful. At home, that translated to sensitive, and sensitive in my father's house was not a compliment. If I cried after getting shoved around at school, "You need thicker skin." If I didn't want to play football because I preferred learning graphic design, "You're too sensitive." If Liam teased me in front of his friends and I didn't laugh along, "Lighten up, Ethan, it's just a joke." It was always just a joke, until it wasn't. While Liam chased applause, I built quietly. In high school, he was breaking records. I was teaching myself coding at 2 a.m. In college, he partied and networked. I freelanced small projects at first, logo designs, website tweaks, branding consultations. By 26, I had steady international clients, contracts, recurring revenue. I paid my own rent, bought my own car. No one in my family understood what I did. At dinners, Dad would lean back and beam at Liam. "So, son, tell us about the expansion." Liam would throw around words like scaling, acquisition, strategic partnership. Dad would nod like he was watching the birth of an empire. Then he'd glance at me. "And Ethan, still doing that online stuff?" "Online stuff," I'd swallow it, smile politely, and "Yeah, it's going well." And that would be the end of it, because no one ever asked follow-up questions. You can disappear in plain sight when people decide you're background noise. The real fracture started on Dad's birthday. I spent 3 weeks restoring old photographs of his childhood, digitally repairing cracks, recoloring faded memories. I contacted one of his old fishing buddies to write a message for him. Then I had everything custom bound into a leather book. It wasn't flashy, but it was personal. After dinner, I handed it to him. He flipped through the pages slowly. "Wow," he said flatly. "That must have taken time." That was it. No emotion. No real acknowledgement. 10 minutes later, Liam showed up late carrying a massive box. Inside, a premium set of golf clubs. Dad lit up like someone had handed him the moon. "Now this," he said, clapping Liam on the back. "This is what I'm talking about." Everyone gathered around. Phones came out. Laughter filled the room. My book sat closed on the coffee table, unopened again. Something inside me went very still that night. Not angry, just tired. The final break happened 3 weeks later. We were sitting around the dining table again. Steak, red wine, Liam dominating the air like usual. He was bragging about some hospital-related partnership tied to his new business venture, health tech innovation, investor meetings, big money coming soon. Dad raised his glass. "To my son," he said proudly, nodding at Liam, the one who actually carries this family name forward. The words hit like a slap. I don't know why I spoke. Maybe because something inside me had already snapped weeks ago. "I carry the name too," I said quietly. The room froze. Liam smirked. "Doing what? Designing logos in your pajamas?" A few uncomfortable laughs circled the table. Heat crawled up my spine. My heartbeat slowed instead of sped up. "I run a profitable business," I said. Dad sighed. "Ethan, you've always been sensitive about this stuff. No one's attacking you." Liam leaned forward, elbows on the table. "We're just saying you don't contribute the way I do." Contribute, like I was a dependent, like I was dead weight. "You live small," Liam added. "And then, you act like we're the problem." Dad shook his head. "It's exhausting walking on eggshells around you." Exhausting. That word echoed louder than anything else. My chest felt hollow. I pushed my chair back. The scraping sound cut through the tension. "Where are you going?" Dad asked. I grabbed my coat. Ow. Liam laughed behind me. See? Sensitive. I didn't slam the door, I just left. I didn't expect my phone to explode that night. Call after call after call. Mom, Dad, Liam, 15 missed calls, then a voicemail. Mom's voice was shaking. Ethan, please call us. It's your father. He collapsed. He's at the hospital. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall, and I waited for panic, for guilt, for that instinct that says, you need to go. They're your family. But all I felt was distance, a strange, cold clarity. I went eventually. Hours later, Dad was stable. Minor cardiac event. Stress-induced, they said. Liam was pacing in the hallway like a man rehearsing for sympathy. When he saw me, his jaw tightened. Nice of you to show up. I didn't respond, but I noticed something. At the billing desk, a nurse mentioned insurance discrepancies. Liam stepped in quickly. Too quickly. His voice lowered, controlled. My instincts sharpened. Something wasn't right. A week later, I got an email. Outstanding balance. Immediate attention required. It was from the hospital. Addressed to me, my name, my social security number, my contact information. The total due made my stomach drop. Tens of thousands of dollars. I read it 3 times. My hands went cold. Liam. Instead of exploding, I did what I've always done best. I went quiet. I requested full billing documentation, I examined digital authorization forms, I compared signatures, I traced IP login activity connected to the hospital's online payment portal. Freelancing teaches you patience, precision, documentation. Within 2 weeks, I had it all. The digital signature on the authorization form, Liam's typing pattern, the IP address registered to his condo, timestamp. The same night Dad was admitted, he had used my identity to secure financial responsibility for a portion of the hospital debt tied to his so-called business involvement. Identity fraud. If I hadn't caught it early, my credit would have been destroyed. My business, crippled. And the worst part, he never planned to tell me. I printed everything, organized it neatly into a folder. Then I did something no one expected. I asked for another family dinner. When I arrived, the atmosphere felt fragile. Dad looked older, weaker. Liam looked confident, relaxed, like he'd gotten away with it. Halfway through dinner, I placed the folder on the table. I need to show you something. Liam rolled his eyes. Here we go again. I slid the first document toward Dad. Hospital billing records in my name, the second. IP logs traced to Liam's condo, the third. Signature analysis comparison. The air in the room shifted. Dad's hands trembled as he flipped through the pages. What is this? He whispered. I looked at Liam. Go ahead, I said calmly. Explain. For the first time in his life, Liam had no performance ready. Color drained from his face. It's not what it looks like, he muttered. It's exactly what it looks like. I replied evenly. You used my identity to cover hospital debt. That's fraud. The word hung heavy. Dad's eyes slowly moved to Liam. You used your brother? His voice cracked. Liam swallowed. It was temporary. I was going to fix it. With my credit? I asked. With my livelihood? Silence, and for once, no one called me sensitive. No one dismissed me. The most powerful moment wasn't yelling. It was the silence. That suffocating, undeniable silence when the truth sat on the table and couldn't be laughed away. Liam, the golden child, the untouchable son, looked small. No charm, no smirk, no applause, just consequences. I've already contacted the hospital, I said calmly. The dead is being reassigned. They're opening an investigation. Dad's face collapsed inward. You would have ruined him, Liam hissed at me. I met his eyes. You tried to ruin me first. That was the moment. Not when he paled, not when Dad realized that favoritism had blinded him, but when I felt nothing. No need for validation, no need for approval, just freedom. I stood up, and this time, no one laughed. Sometimes revenge isn't explosive, it isn't screaming or destruction. Sometimes it's documentation, patience, and refusing to protect people who would sacrifice you without hesitation. I didn't destroy my family, I simply stopped being their scapegoat. And in doing that, I finally stopped being invisible. If this story hit home, if you've ever been the overlooked sibling, the quiet achiever, the one they underestimated, drop a comment below and tell me your story. And if you love revenge stories where intelligence beats ego and silence beats arrogance, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Because sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one holding all the evidence.